A pszichiáterek ragaszkodnak ahhoz, hogy a mentális egészségügyi szűrés mindenkinek előnyére válna. De igaz ez? És mi a kockázat? ...2003-ban egy elnöki tanácsadó csoport, az Új Mentális Egészségügyi Bizottság egy átfogó programot adott ki, melyben lefektette a stratégiát az amerikai társadalom széles rétegeinek mentális betegségekkel kapcsolatos szűrésére. Céljai között voltak olyan programok, amelyekkel a mentális betegségek korán észlelhetők lennének, amelyekkel kibővítenék az iskolák szerepét a mentális problémák diagnosztizálásában és kezelésében, és amelyek keretében kiterjesztenék a mentális egészségügyi szűrést a pszichiáter díványán túlra is, az általános orvosok rendelőibe.
It's going to screen the population for mental health. The whole population. They're going to do it by stages, starting with school children, of course.
A kötelező mentális egészségügyi szűrés eddig még nem vált valóra, a társadalom szűk rétegeit kivéve. Az egyik ilyen réteg a legkiszolgáltatottabbaké, az államilag nevelt gyerekeké.
A child goes into foster care, they label the child with some kind of a psychological problem. The child is immediately sent to therapy. Well, the therapist will say, well, I believe the child needs to be on something. So they recommend that the child see a psychiatrist to have the drug administered.
Out of the 60, 65 families that I see, I mean, easily 90% of the kids they have the mental health diagnosis to begin with. If they get it from a psychiatrist, it almost always comes with meds. And I think that we see identified as at-risk kids in the community, and we see some of the most intense situations. And a lot of them are on 4 or 5 different meds.
I've seen children that the day they're taken out of their parents' custody and placed into state custody actually seem happy, healthy, vibrant, energetic. And then, 2 months later, after they've begun taking these medications, they are very slow. They are zombie-like, is the best way to describe it.
Ma minden gyerek, aki belép Texas állam nevelőrendszerébe, mentális egészségügyi szűrést kap. Az eredmény: az államilag nevelt gyermekek 60%-át mentális betegséggel diagnosztizálják, és tudatmódosítószereket adnak nekik, még a 3 éveseknek is. Más államokban ez még ennél is rosszabb. Massachusettsben például az állami gondozásban lévő gyerekek 2/3-át kezelik mentális betegséggel. Az állami gondozott gyerekek között azok aránya, akik különféle szereket szednek, 3-szor akkora, mint más gyermekek esetében. Mint például a 7 éves Gabriel Myers, aki 2 erős tudatmódosítószert is szedett, amelyek közül az egyiken az FDA figyelmeztetése volt, miszerint öngyilkos gondolatokat okozhat a gyermekeknél, amikor felakasztotta magát egy zuhanycsővel. A piac egy másik szeletét a katonák alkotják, akiket a katonai bázisok rendelőiben rendszeresen szűrnek, majd megbélyegeznek valamilyen mentális zavarral, és akikkel ezután erős és potenciálisan erőszakkeltő szereket szedetnek.
Iraq wasn't like Vietnam. There weren't illegal drugs everywhere, but there were drugs everywhere because, every guy on post, they knew all they needed to do was go down and see the combat stress unit, the shrink, and he was the drug dealer on post for us.
Almost everybody that saw the body or experienced the event were put on some sort of psychotropic medication.
Some bases where my friends were at, my fellow veterans were at, everyone, the whole platoon was on drugs.
I would say about 75% of active duty military is addicted to some type of psychotropic drug.
You could walk around a military barracks and you ask someone for some Prozac, and somebody's got some Prozac or some Xanax or some Zoloft.
I've got friends who were in the Army with me who are now dependent on Zoloft and psychotropic drugs just because they got used to it in Iraq and they didn't ever want to get off it, and now they're dependent on it and addicted to it.
We have huge numbers of military people on antidepressants, and instead of the suicide rate going down, which you'd expect if the drugs were effective, the suicide rate is going up.
This last January, we had more soldiers commit suicide than we had die in combat. And what's not being brought out much yet is the fact that the large majority of these soldiers were on these drugs. We're drugging the military at a rate we've never, ever seen before.
És ez csak a kezdet. Ugyanis a mentális egészségi szűrési programokat 15 bázis 43 rendelőjében tervezik bevezetni az USA-ban, Németországban és Olaszországban. A tanulmányok feltárják, hogy az Irakban szolgáló katonák 12%-a és az Afganisztánban szolgálók 17%-a szed valamilyen antidepresszánst vagy altatót. Összesen 20 000 katona. De ez a szám elhalványul azon várandós vagy szoptatós anyák száma mellett, akikkel szereket szedetnének, ha az erre vonatkozó kötelező pszichiátriai szűrési törvényeket elfogadják.
And when a woman is pregnant, right during the pregnancy, specifically right afterwards, her hormones are changing and sometimes raging. And to screen them and call it mental illness, if they have any type of emotional issues in any way, shape or form, is utterly ludicrous.
Már az ezt kötelezővé tevő törvények nélkül is lehetséges, hogy a várandós anya mentális szűrést kapjon, anélkül, hogy tudna róla. Íme néhány nő, akit a rendelőből távozáskor kérdeztek meg.
Have you ever been screened for mental illness?
I have not been screened for mental illness. No, I've never been screened for any mental illness.
I don't remember any pre-screening.
I have not been.
No. No? Have you ever been screened for any mental illness?
No, I have not been screened for any mental illness.
Did your OB/GYN or gynecologist have you fill out a questionnaire that contains psychological questions?
Yes, my OB/GYN did give me a questionnaire that has psychological questions.
I've never been screened for mental illness. Yes, I would say the first time I went to see my OB/GYN, I did fill out questionnaires about even family medical history, my medical history, my mental state.
I've not been screened for any mental illness or depression. I took a questionnaire at my 6-week checkup, and it basically asked me about if I was crying, if I felt depressed.
Yeah, it was a questionnaire about depression. If you're depressed, or if you had any history of depression.
Are you happy with your normal day? Are you happy about being pregnant?
Have you ever hurt yourself? Are you happy? If I feel like hurting someone, if I was angry.
Do mental illness run in your family?
You know, it was very noticeable to me after the pregnancy that they're actually fishing for the postpartum depression.
When I was pregnant with my daughter, before I had her, I had to take postpartum depression medicine from my 7th month on to my 9th month.
És hová vezet ez a szűrés? Olyan programokhoz, mint az alig ismert gyógyszerűzérkedés, amelyet eredetileg 1995-ben Texasban alkottak meg. Texasi gyógyszerezési lépcsőzetes projekt, röviden TMAP névvel.
TMAP is a program that was originated starting in the 90s, a collaborative group of doctors from University of Texas and the Texas Department of Mental Health and Mental Retardation. And what it was supposed to do is come up with the best practice for treating mental illness.
Ez a többségében pszichiáterekből álló testület 11 gyógyszergyártó cég kutatási költségvetését használva egy lépcsőzetes táblázatot készített, amely megköveteli, hogy kizárólag a legújabb és legdrágább pszichiátriai szereket írják fel a mentális gondokkal küzdő pácienseknek. És ha az egyik tudatmódosítószer nem működne, akkor az orvosnak muszáj kipróbálnia egy másik drága szert. És ha egyik sem válna be, a következő lépés az elektrosokk. A TMAP irányítói azonban jelentős összeférhetetlenséget rejtegettek.
They didn't disclose that the researchers that were all involved in creating this, almost every single one of them had financial relationships with the pharmaceutical companies.
De Texas nem az egyetlen korrupcióval küszködő állam. Ellen Jones a Pennsylvániai főfelügyelő irodájának nyomozója volt.
I learned that these monies were all coming in to the state to support and to promote a program called TMAP, the Texas Medication Algorithm Project. And so my concern was piqued very quickly that there was at least one state official who might be inappropriately receiving and dispersing monies from drug companies. They called it PenMap, but it was based entirely on the TMAP model. Also very quickly, I learned that there were other state employees who were serving on advisory boards financed through various pharmaceutical companies, and other state employees who were accepting honorariums personally, directly, from drug companies for speaking in their state capacities or official capacities. That's a felony in Pennsylvania. I saw there was a much bigger picture and attempted to surface that bigger picture and was consistently told to back off. I was told that drug companies write checks to politicians on both sides of the aisle. back off. You will not expand this investigation into the drug companies. Continue to press the investigation, much of it on my own time at this point. I became increasingly alarmed that all of the drugs recommended by the TMAP program were exclusively the new patented atypical antipsychotics for schizophrenia and all of the brand new patented SSRI antidepressants. None of it added up. When it became obvious to me that my investigation was not going to be permitted to continue, and it became obvious to the Inspector General's office that I was not going to stop, I was removed from lead investigator on the case. They threatened me with loss of career, with loss of job, with loss of reputation, essentially.
Annak ellenére, hogy a nyomozás eredményeképpen Pennsylvania főgyógyszerészét elítélték, a TMAP és az olyan származékok, mint a PenMap az egész országban elterjedtek, és milliárdos gyógyszereladásokat hoztak. Ám a pszichiáterek könnyű pénzért nagy árat fizetnek az adófizetők. 2001-ben a TMAP és a gyerekekre szabott változata, a CMAP csődbe vitte a texasi Medicaid társadalombiztosítási programot, valamint az állam mentális egészségügyi és börtönrendszerét. Tehát milyen összképet látunk? Egy a kormány által irányított és az adófizetők pénzéből folytatott mentális egészségi szűrőprogramot, amelyben mindenkinek, akit a pszichiáterek mentálisan betegnek ítélnek, erős, veszélyes és drága tudatmódosítószereket adnak, és ha azok nem működnek, akkor elektrosokkot.
They're going to start with school children on the New Freedom Initiative, then they're going to move it to senior citizen nursing homes, then they're going to move it to, of course, military, and then parents.
By the time you're 18, you've been screened in utero when you were an infant. You were screened as an infant when you first came out. You were screened in your daycare. You were screened then at school. You were screened at the pediatrician's office. You're screened in high school. You're screened over and over again.
And to sit there and pass laws requiring that people be screened and drugged based on screening under state law or federal law is really, it's criminal. It should not be done.
They're marketing this madness all over this country, and we are actually becoming an example for the rest of the world. So we're, again, the poster child, if you will, and so the rest of the world is spending more and more on drugs.
I don't know that there was ever a time in the history of the world where people have been drugged to the extent of what we're seeing today.
The reality is, if you look at the overall picture, I don't see these drugs helping us make a better society. We see it in the military, we see it in our children, we see it in the schools. These drugs are not working to make a better society.
És a teljes erővel dübörgő, ám rejtett marketing kampányok közepette, mi történik a páciensekkel, miután diagnosztizálták és bekapcsolták őket a tudatmódosító gyógyszerezés gépezetébe?